Hello, Homestead. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stay standing for a moment of silence.
From Homestead Media, this is HHS In Depth.
Today is Friday, January 26th, and welcome back to the first full show of HHS In Depth in 2024. Let's start with a quick rundown of today's show. First up, Jaron Ellis brings us a heartwarming story on how some Homestead students have been giving back by volunteering at the Trinity English Lutheran Church Community Dinner. Next, Mara Nicholson tells us about some new courses you can enroll in for the 2024 to 2025 school year. Later, Josh Bobe gives us a recap on the 8th grade class fair that took place last week. Finally, Caroline Burns will tell us about the Champions Together dance team and what they've been doing recently. We'll also give you an update on the weather you can expect this weekend and into next week. We'll talk about performing arts and behind the curtain, and we will fill you in on our athletic teams and down to the wire. All of this and more today on HHS In Depth. Hello, Spartans. Welcome back to HHS In Depth. I'm Carly Swimiller.
And I'm Hunter Wise. And Carly, how's the start of the new semester going for you?
Pretty good. I've liked getting back into my routine and seeing my friends again. How about you?
It's been going pretty well, and the weather hasn't been my favorite recently.
Same. Having to wear a jacket just throws off my outfit.
Speaking of the weather, let's ask Emily Adams what things look like outside for the foreseeable future.
From sleet, snow, and slush, we've definitely seen all this past week. But will we continue to see these rainy and cold conditions? I'll be back later to let you know.
Thanks, Emily.
Be sure to stick around as Emily will be back later in the show to update us about the weekend and next school week's weather.
HHS In Depth, National News.
Switching now to national news. A few weeks ago, a group of students at Harbor Creek High School in Harbor Creek, Pennsylvania, were able to contact the International Space Station. Although this isn't new for amateurs contacting the space station, it is the first time for a group of high school students to do it themselves. The students are all licensed amateur radio operators, and they are studying for many federal communications exams. While most amateur operators contact people around the world, contacting the space station is a remarkable feat because they have about a 10-minute window to talk to the astronauts since the space station is moving at about 17,000 miles an hour. In other news, over 200 high school teachers in North Carolina have to pay back their $1,200 bonus checks because they were meant for new hires. The 225 Charlotte-Mecklenburg school teachers received these checks on January 12th, and since they are not new hires to the area, they will have the option of repaying bonus in a lump sum from their February check or may choose a payment plan with deductions over 3 months. This school district is the second largest in the state with over 140,000 students and 9,000 teachers.
Thank you, Hunter, for the national news update.
You know, Carly, recently I've been wanting to help out the community, but I don't really know what to do exactly.
Well, you could volunteer to help feed the homeless at the Trinity English Lutheran Church Community Dinner.
That sounds like a great idea, and I would love to learn more about it.
Well, you're in luck, Hunter, as HHS In-Depth reporter Jaron Ellis is in now to tell us more about it.
In the United States alone, roughly 582,000 people are experiencing homelessness. Imagine going a day without a hot meal or clean water. Sadly, this is the case for about 1/5 of our population.
Thankfully, there are many ways to help the homeless population of Fort Wayne, one of which is a community dinner held at Trinity English Lutheran Church, feeding the homeless every Thursday night.
The community dinner is a meal that we serve once a week to people mostly in the downtown area that need a free meal. And so we generally serve them an entree some kind of casserole or soup, and a side dish. Could be a salad, could be a vegetable, as well as bread and dessert.
Having to feed dozens of homeless every week, there's a lot that goes into account of making the community dinner possible.
Well, the chef and his crew have planned ahead the menu, and they come in and cook in the afternoon, and then the next shift comes and sets the tables, and we do some advertising just outside the church saying that we're open and please come in.
I'm at a desk out there, and I welcome them as soon as they come in the church, and then I give them a goodie bag when they leave the church.
Furthermore, there are several Homestead students who volunteer their time to work at the community dinner.
I chose to help out the homeless because it really embraces myself, because there's going to be a lot of negativity in our world, but all we know is that, hey, everything's going to get better over time, and if we do something good, then there's something good that's going to return back to you.
With the homeless being able to receive a hot meal every Thursday night, they are grateful for the help the church and volunteers provide.
It's amazing to me, a very awesome blessing and benefit to the public, especially the homeless. I think it's great. I was homeless in the streets of Fort Wayne for about 2 years. This is how I ate. This is how I survived. So I'm very appreciative. The resources in Fort Wayne are amazing. Very grateful.
If you are wishing to help support the local homeless population of Fort Wayne, you can send an email to the address shown below to find out various ways you can contribute. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Jaron Ellis.
Thanks for the story, Jaron. Stay with us and we'll be right back here on HHS In Depth.
Want to learn more about last week's 8th grade night? I'll be back with a story later in the show.
Welcome back to HHS In Depth.
The 2025 presidential inauguration trip meeting will take place in the Gray Box on Thursday, February 1st at 6 p.m. Go to this meeting to learn more about the trip, along with many tools in place to help you get there. Meeting attendance is not required to go on the trip, but is highly recommended. The final date to register for this trip is Friday, February 9th.
As we get closer to scheduling classes during this month, some often get overlooked. While these might not be the most popular, they are definitely worth looking at and enrolling for next school year.
Reporter Mara Nicholson is in now to tell us about a few of these courses.
We all know about the Core 40 classes, but when it comes to electives, things tend to get a bit more complicated because of how competitive the courses are. There are almost too many options, where some may feel overwhelmed by not being able to take all of the classes they want in a normal school day. This leads to super important courses having too few students enrolled.
Well, significantly just in number, we had 5 people on staff, and this semester we have 6 people on staff.
Although more students becoming interested in the yearbook program is a positive, there's still room for the program to grow.
I would say that if you're interested in going into journalism or communication, you're getting a little bit of everything. You are getting the foundational elements of layout design, you're getting photos, you're writing captions for those photos, you're learning how to interview and develop good questions. You're doing something different each day.
This does not only include the yearbook, but also certain advanced math courses that people might overlook when comparing it to calculus or stats.
So finite is one of those things that a lot of us math teachers feel passionate about to give students exposure before they leave high school. Typically, these things are seen in college level. So if we do it before they get to college, it should make college an easier experience for them. I would highly recommend anyone going into a STEM field to consider finite as an option, to explore those areas of math that other classes just don't have time to study.
Another career path that ends up getting forgotten about is actually one of the jobs that is most projected to have a longer employment and a higher pay straight out of college. The course is cybersecurity, which is the art of protecting networks, devices, and data from unauthorized access or criminal use. It's basically a legal form of hacking, where you work for the government or other big agencies. Not only is this subject a growing career, but it also provides opportunities close to home, as Purdue is the 6th in the nation for cybersecurity, and some graduated students are being hired starting at $100,000. While I only covered a few overlooked classes, there are so many more, so make sure to review your options thoroughly before finalizing your schedule. If you are interested in taking any of these courses, please contact your counselors before the schedules are finalized. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Mara Nicholson.
Thanks for the story, Mara. You may not remember, but the 8th grade class fair gave you and other students a great opportunity to get introduced to Homestead. And this is a tradition that continues to go on. And now is HHS In Depth reporter Josh Bobe to recap the new and improved 8th grade fair that took place last week.
Last week, the 8th grade class and club fair took place in the new wing of the building. The new and improved fair allowed for both students and parents to find out what Homestead is really about.
So the class fair, we have electives, so all the teachers who teach electives get to show the opportunities that they have in class. We're also having a club fair, so all the clubs, after school activities, they also get to show our future Spartans, our 8th graders, what's to come.
While the class fair is exciting for students and families to experience Homestead and its new building additions, it also made the students more comfortable.
I think it's just that all that information. They're going to have information overload tonight, all the clubs, activities, classes. There's lots of handouts, lots of information online. They can go back with their family, reflect on that, talk about it, and build the best opportunities for them.
The incoming students are not the only ones to benefit from this event, as clubs got a chance to grow from this as well.
Having an 8th grade night just allows people to come in and see all of the clubs and the main classes and electives all at one time, so that you don't have to have individual departments going and trying to get the attention. The clubs don't have to go in, individually.
With all those at the 8th grade class fair that night, the incoming freshmen learned all about Homestead and what it has to offer. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Josh Bobe.
Thank you for the story, Josh. And we want to welcome Josh to the class this semester.
Yep, and a nice job on his first story as well.
Hunter, we think of certain sports during the winter months, but you may have not have heard of this one.
In now is HHS In Depth reporter Caroline Burns to tell you more about the Homestead Champions Together dance team.
Champions Together is a program that offers special needs students opportunities in many sports. The Champions Together dance team consists of both varsity dance team members and special needs students. Together, they learn dances that they'll later perform. During the 2019 to 2020 school year, Homestead dance team coach, Coach Zimbardo, with the help of Unified Sports coach, Coach Radloff, started the Homestead Champions Together dance team.
So Champions Together is when you have students with and without disabilities coming together to compete for their school, do things together, and helps create genuine friendships amongst those two groups who may not have the opportunity to get to know each other otherwise.
Our special needs dancers just got their first ever dance class this semester here at Homestead, so they get dance 4th period. But the Champions Together part is the special part. That's the dance team part of it, so it's more of the extracurriculum. They meet on Fridays and during 5th period, and that's where we learn routines for performances. But we will do warm-ups, we do stretch, we teach them help them use their gross motor skills.
We give them opportunity to express themselves, so that way they can give the passion of what they get.
So my buddy is Jude, and we sort of picked each other. It's super fun being able to teach something that I'm so passionate about, and I look forward to every Friday when we get to work together.
We usually give them support, and we teach them the different dance moves that we do. It gives them a desire to make it different with dance.
And showing them that everybody can dance, anybody can dance, and there are a lot of things and obstacles they learn and overcome and aspire to do as far as dance moves goes. And then most importantly, it's a great way for them to show how to be a great leader, role model, and mentor.
This year, Champions Together will be performing at many events, including the Spring Arts Convocation, so be sure to get out and cheer them on. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Caroline Burns.
Thank you, Caroline. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more on HHS In Depth right after this.
These past 2 weeks in Homestead athletics were filled with impressive accolades for both some of our students and one of our coaches. I'll tell you more about it later on in Down to the Wire.
Welcome back to HHS In Depth.
Welcome back. Well, we're right in the middle of the performing arts winter season and have a lot of events that are recently taking place or are upcoming.
To learn more about everything in the performing arts department, Rowan Walsh joins us with another edition of Behind the Curtain.
Welcome back to Behind the Curtain. I'm Rowan Walsh. Despite the off weather recently, our performing arts have been on stage giving us their all. To kick us off, our advanced jazz ensemble started their competition season strong with the first ever win at the 34th annual Purdue Jazz Festival. They played 456, a Count Basie classic, Georgia on My Mind, a soulful saxophone feature, and On Purple Porpoise Parkway, a fast-paced fusion piece. Cy Romany, Anthony Tomaszewski, and Sam Berkey were recognized for their outstanding solos. Here's to continued success for our jazz band. The Winter Guard had a spectacular performance during their preview night bake sale, but this weekend they begin their competition season at Snyder. The varsity team performs at 5:40 on Saturday and admission is $10. If you would like more information, please scan this QR code. The dance team is hosting its largest competition yet this Saturday with a stunning lineup of 188 performances. Purdue University's dance team is exhibition performers, and the Champions Together dance team will make their thrilling debut for the season. It is also senior night for the 8 seniors on the team. All are welcome to come and show support for the amazingly talented dancers in the district, but especially to come out and support the seniors who have dedicated much time to this art. If you would like the schedule for this event, please contact Coach Brittany Lombardo at the address shown below. That's all for this week's edition of Behind the Curtain. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any scores, performances, auditions, or anything else that you'd like to see on the show, reach out through the email address shown below. For Behind the Curtain, I'm Rowan Walsh. Hunter, Carly, back to you.
Thank you, Rowan. Well, things have warmed up from the bitter cold we saw last week, but will these temperatures stick around for a while?
Well, Carly, I just want to know if we're going to have another week of at least missing one day of school.
Weather reporter Emily Adams is in the studio now to tell us that answer.
Thanks, Hunter and Carly. Well, this week has definitely been an adventure in terms of weather. The good news is that today is the last day of cold winter weather as we're starting to see some more consistency and a welcomed warm-up. Today's high is 43 degrees, which will be pretty consistent throughout the weekend with some clouds to give us a pretty quiet end of the week break. On Monday, we will see a more comfortable high of 37, which will only go up throughout the week as we will hang out in the mid-40s until Thursday, when we will reach up to 48 degrees. However, even though the temps will be up, the sun won't be out as much as it's an even split between our cloudy days and our partly cloudy days. So while we may be having our first entire in-person week of school since the break, you may be able to ditch that winter coat for just a simple jacket. Hunter and Carly, back to you.
Thank you for the weather report, Emily.
Well, we turn now to sports, and last weekend was a busy one for both the girls and boys basketball teams.
To tell us how the teams did and to fill us in on other sports news, here's this week's Down to the Wire with Graham DeWitt.
Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm Graham DeWitt. These past couple weeks have been some big ones for Homestead athletics, with some incredible accomplishments being made. We start today's episode with girls wrestling. On Friday the 12th, junior Katie Vardaman made the trip down to compete for the first ever Indiana Girls State Wrestling Championship. She won her first match in semifinals before ultimately falling in the final match, placing as the state runner-up in Homestead's first year of having a girls wrestling team. Congratulations, Katie. Our boys basketball team had a couple of games over the past 2 weeks. Starting with the game on the 13th, they easily took down the Marion Giants 76-58. This game marked Coach Johnson's 500th career win as a coach, making him one of 8 active coaches and the 37th all-time to accomplish this feat in the state of Indiana. Congratulations, Coach, on this big accomplishment. Then, almost a week later, last Friday, the boys won a nail-biter against Northside 43-36. Wyatt Weaver had a big game with 19 points and 5 rebounds. Jake Kuhlman had 7 points and 6 rebounds, and Josh Rogers also had 7 points to go along with 3 rebounds. They play again tonight against Northrop. Last Saturday, Carmel came into Spartan Arena to take on our girls basketball team. Our girls continued their great season by taking care of the Greyhounds, ending in a final score of 54-35. Whitney Ankerbrook and Gabby Helsum both had 17 points and 5 rebounds, while Maya Epps had 10 points and 9 rebounds. It's also worth mentioning that last Sunday, the sectional draw was announced, and our girls will be playing in Columbia City. On Tuesday, they will be playing Southside, and if they win that game, they will play New Haven on Friday. They will also play Northrop here later tonight. Also in action last Saturday was our gymnastics team, who placed second out of 12 teams at the Carter Classic Concordia Invitational with a score of 106.375. This meet was highlighted by Jillian Krieger setting a new school record for floor score with 9.90 out of 10. The team will travel to Chesterton for their next meet tomorrow. Finally, 2 weeks ago, we had a Spartan athlete sign her letter of intent. On Wednesday the 10th, girls cross country and track and field star Lauren Saddington signed to run for Taylor University. Congratulations, Lauren. Tonight, we've got one last basketball doubleheader at Spartan Arena, this time against Northrop. Our girls will tip off at 6, and our boys will start their game at 7:30. The theme is Hawaiian, and it will also be senior night for our girls as it is their regular season finale. That's all for this week's edition of Down to the Wire. I'm Graham DeWitt. Thank you for watching. Hunter, Carly, back to you.
Thank you, Graham, for the sports update. This has been HHS In Depth. Thank you for watching today.
Make sure to check out our socials for updates on the HHS In-Depth team and our upcoming projects.
Have a wonderful weekend, Homestead, and we'll see you back here again next week.